Battlefield 6 will save gaming. Maybe. DICE and Battlefield are attempting to do what nobody else has successfully done yet. Join together two entirely different game structures that are comprised of opposing design philosophies. If they can pull it off, we may enter an entirely new era of multiplayer experiences that will ultimately change gaming for the next generation. But on the flip side, if they don't pull it off, the game will likely die within a year and might just shatter the hopes and dreams that the industry at large will change. I'm Captain Peach, welcome back to the pit, and let's explore the first philosophy that Battlefield 6 is attempting to capture through their game structure and marketing.
You've got tanks, you've got jets.
You get a bit sweaty in your palms.
That's full, all-out military experience. It's just unlike any other game I've played.
And that is the idea of the return of the Golden Era. A trip back to when games had central themes that the entire experience adhered to, before DLC went overboard. And before gaming was a slow grindfest that was designed and entirely built around the concept of selling wacky and cross-promotional skins. The era of Battlefield 3, the original Modern Warfare series, Halo 3 and Reach, the shooters from a decade plus ago that built experiences meant to last with fun at the heart and center of it all. Not a Netflix menu created to keep you on the platform as long as possible, with the flow of the game designed purely to maximize player retention and spike dopamine at optimal moments. Battlefield 6 is being hyped as a return to form. What gaming used to be, the opposition to modern game design. And the ultimate representation of modern gaming is the elephant in the room and the chief competitor to Battlefield, Call of Duty. A game that lost its identity years ago has been releasing back-to-back sequels instead of alternating like they used to, jam-packing in countless cross-promotional skins that erode the game world, emphasize their microtransactions and bundles over fun, and optimize the entire experience not so you enjoy yourself, but so you stay playing as long as possible through consumer psychological manipulation, to ultimately spend more money. And the unfortunate thing is, it's not alone. Many other games follow the exact same tactics. Multiplayer gaming, and FPSs especially, just aren't the same as what they used to be. Add on to that as soon as something gets popular in one game, all of the others copy it, making everything feel homogenous and lacking any real identity. So in order to actually drum up interest, they have to remake the same maps, use the same sub-franchises in the case of COD, follow the same art styles and design, and ultimately rely heavily on nostalgia to sell copies. Let me tell you, you can only play Nuketown in every possible era so many times before you get bored out of your gourd. Can we please get a remake of Mirage or Downhill? Does anybody else remember those maps? Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. They use nostalgia for those fan-favorite games to rope people in and try to bridge the players to the new experience that is ultimately completely different. And the best way to get gamers to try something different is to make people connect with something they already know, hence the heavy reuse of things we've played a million times. But all of this nostalgia bait, while pushing a lot of modern gaming practices, has created a lot of fatigue among gamers. They're looking for something different. Something that can actually deliver the fun and isn't focused purely on selling skins and optimizing the game for maximum retention. And that's where Battlefield 6 comes in. Its unique selling proposition, the prime differentiator from all the other competition, is it's attempting to actually return to that golden era of gaming. A fun, grounded, player-first experience emulating that old-school feel while bringing the best of the latest technology has to offer with just a few new ideas sprinkled in to make it feel fresh and exciting. At least that's what they're trying to say through their marketing. That Battlefield 6 is this generation's Battlefield 3. And this is accomplished through several key nostalgic choices to prime the viewer to expect a Battlefield 3 level return. The choice of a modern military setting, the look and design of all of the weapons, vehicles, and gear, maps that emulate the look of older fan-favorite maps, and even including a fan-favorite Battlefield 3 map at launch, with more leaked to be on the horizon. This philosophy on the maps was even commented on by the development director Anna Narovic when she revealed that Battlefield Studios will introduce classic versions of maps based on fan or player requests. She said that they want to choose the best possible one to bring back the good old days of playing Battlefield. Bringing back those good old days also gets hammered home by directly using the Battlefield 3 theme in the very first teaser for Battlefield 6.
Let's build Battlefield together.
And even using the song Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit in their first multiplayer trailer. A phenomenal choice, by the way, but also a very specific one to separate Battlefield 6 from modern gaming. because Break Stuff was released over 2 decades ago in the year 2000, cementing the idea that we're going back to an earlier and better time. And also a song that many of the people who played Battlefield 3 would have heard in their formative teenage years. You see, Battlefield's primary target audience is young to middle-aged adult males. And if you were in your early 20s when Battlefield 3 was released, which would have been their target audience at that time, you would have listened to Limp Bizkit in your teens. Which also happens to be when our taste in music tends to peak, and an era that we always look back on fondly. So if you're DICE and you want people to associate your new game with a golden era of gaming that they played a decade ago, you'll want to reach them primarily through nostalgia, one of the strongest emotions we have to take them back in time. Conversely, Black Ops 7 is taking the opposite approach, by trying to appear more trendy and future-focused, through picking the song by Travis Scott released just in 2023. The focus on their marketing is to appear more modern and forward-looking. And the design of their game is fully geared towards that. But the look, feel, design, and sound of Battlefield 6's marketing is trying to convey that it's the successor to Battlefield 3 that we all want. And so far, it's working ridiculously well. The hype train for Battlefield 6 is rivaling the hype that surrounded Battlefield 1. Gamers don't want that modern, trendy vibe that Black Ops 6 is presenting. They want a return to form that Battlefield is promising. And this marketing play so far has given phenomenal results. The trailers have gotten millions of views, the pre-orders are incredibly high, all of the online gaming discourse is positive and ecstatic over the release, and the beta was the biggest in franchise history. The game will be a massive blockbuster. When it releases, it will return gaming to where it should be. It will reignite the player base and give us hope that other gaming franchises will follow suit by making a game focused on the fun and delivering the experience that players want. But there's one glaring problem that could break Battlefield and be its undoing.
You scared yet?
And that is the design philosophy they're employing that is directly opposing that idea of a return to the golden era. And it comes down to the inevitable problem of monetization. After launch, how will DICE continue to make money and keep the game relevant? Because of the popularization of the Battle Pass system in Skin Shop, the expectation for all multiplayer games now is that all major post-launch content like maps, modes, and weapons will be free for all players. But that has to be funded somehow. You can't sell season passes or map packs anymore because people won't stand for it when all of the competition offers that content for free. So the industry at large has moved over to the Battle Pass model. At least until something new comes along that's just as successful. But the major flaw with this system is that the only way it works is if you're offering unique and constantly changing and evolving cosmetic content. The Skin Shop has to be regularly updated, and the Battle Pass needs to offer something that makes the grind and the expense feel worth it. And in order to sell to gamers who have already purchased or acquired the most unique skins, you have to introduce more skins that take it further and are more enticing. This creates an escalation loop that makes it very hard for a game to stay grounded and within the theme of the game's world. And if they don't keep escalating skins, they won't be able to fund the same level of content to keep players engaged. And the game will slowly die. So what's Battlefield 6's full plan for this monetization? Well, so far, the exact same as everybody else. That Battle Pass with a heavy focus on player skins, which means they're going to be in a tricky spot. One of the massive appeals of Battlefield 6 is that it's returning to the glory days. It's following the same footsteps as some of our favorite Battlefields. But it's using the monetization system of modern games that it's trying to distance itself from. And the only way through this is if DICE can somehow make the skins and cosmetics interesting enough for purchase and for the Battle Pass rewards, but still grounded in the game world without jumping the shark like Call of Duty.
Alright, let's call this duty.
But if Battlefield wants to maintain that longevity, it'll have to keep escalating skins to keep people buying. And we are going to see an intense tug-of-war between those two ideals. And even DICE is aware of this, as they're already giving themselves an out in case they want to keep that escalation going and get wackier. In a recent interview, Battlefield's technical director Christian Buell said, "We are a gritty, grounded, realistic shooter. That's what we intend to be, and that's what the game is going to look like for a while." Now that doesn't mean that they're going to be getting Nicki Minaj.
You could be the king, but watch the queen conquer.
But it also means that they're not fully committed to keeping that gritty, realistic style. And my biggest fear is that this whole situation seems to be entirely mimicking the Call of Duty Modern Warfare reboot in 2019. After the increasingly ridiculous and over-the-top Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare was hailed as a return to what made Call of Duty great. That original grit and feel, those fan-favorite characters, classic remastered maps, the same design and style, and a heavy dose of nostalgia throughout. It also was the first Call of Duty to introduce the Battle Pass monetization system. It as well had those two opposing design philosophies. the modern monetization system, and the gritty, realistic return to gaming. And they successfully threaded the needle through those two systems and held out for quite a while. But the need for escalating skins grew too much, and Modern Warfare eventually went away with that grounded game world in favor of high-selling cosmetics. That began the slow descent we've been witnessing with Call of Duty over the last several years. And just like with Modern Warfare 2019, Battlefield 6 will also be offering a free-to-play Battle Royale. And in order to fund that in future updates, they'll need to make some pretty crazy money somehow. And so far, they're resorting to the same tactics that got Call of Duty and numerous other games into the situations they're currently in. And if the leaks are true that DICE wants to make Battlefield a yearly franchise and their Battle Royale the next Warzone, it won't be long before they might start testing the waters with what they're gonna sell. But I am super excited for Battlefield 6. It's shaping up to be an awesome game, at least on launch. And if it can deliver on its promises, provide a super fun experience, and is still able to make money without getting too ridiculous with its cosmetics, it might just save gaming and provide a roadmap for other games like Call of Duty to work through those two opposing design philosophies, get back to the basics, and get back to what made games fun. I just hope and pray that Battlefield 6 doesn't fall down the same rabbit hole of selling wacky skins and heavy cross-promotion that so many other multiplayer experiences have followed that have slowly killed gaming. If that happens, I think it might just break us, and the entire industry will continue down its path of a serious identity crisis. But the worst part is, it wasn't always like this. It took a while to get to this point, and a lot of key changes in the industry over the years that slowly degraded our favorite games. And there's one reason these publishers keep doing it, which you can learn all about by watching this video where I detail the rise of cross-promotion in gaming and how it's killing the entire industry. But right before you click that, be sure to spank the subscribe, and as always, stay peachy.